and welcome to our town hall. I'm Mike Bennett, the president of the Birmingham Community Charter High School Governing Board, and we'd like to introduce our two candidates for principal CEO, Tracy Bowden, and Ari Bennett. When you came in, you received a blank 3x5 card and a pencil, hopefully, to write down any questions you may have of either candidate or both candidates, and a sort of an information sheet which you'll deposit here at the end of the meeting. Each candidate will have about 15 minutes to explain his and her philosophy and how they see their role as leader, and then we'll open up to questions. Richard and Patty will take your question cards and they'll sort them out so we don't have 15 of the same questions. And about 9 o'clock, we'll give each candidate the last word of why they want to be the principal of Birmingham Community Charter High School. So without further ado, Ari Bennett.
Thank you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some formative experiences for me that really shaped who I am as an educator. And those elements are related to passion, equity, and rigor. And passion was something that developed in me very early. I remember as a kid, about 10 or 11 years old, I wanted to play with my big brother, and my big brother was often sequestered alone in the piano room of the house. And I wanted to play baseball or something, come out and play with me during the summer. And my brother would play for like 10, 11 hours a day. And until his fingers bled. And I would hear him pounding and pounding, asking to play. He wanted to play the piano. And it didn't take long for me to wonder what was it that he loved so much. Why is it that he loved something so much and I didn't have that yet? And so a lot of my life, really as I became a teenager and into my young adulthood, came about me finding what it was, my passion in life. Fast forward, I went on to college. I had a circuitous route to education. I dropped out. I moved to Japan. I taught English for a while. That was my first experience as an ESL teacher. Came back, tried different things. I was actually a commodity broker. I was an assistant to the manager for Tears for Fears. And I even got an agent, the Will and Grace agent, same agent, as a writer. At that time, I was trying to make ends meet, and so I became a substitute in LAUSD. And one day I got a call from Poly High School, and they asked me to come in for a long-term sub position. That was the first time I had the opportunity to teach a class. And I fell in love right away. That was January 2000. About, let's say, 2 months later, when the assignment ended, I got recruited over to ESL. That was my background. I had, before then, obviously I taught a little bit in Japan, and I taught adult school, like private adult school to foreign students that wanted to learn English. And so I quickly got recruited over to ESL and was given my own class, an unfilled position for a teacher. And I was in the position for probably a week, and I called my brother and I said, Jamie, I found my passion. This is it. I wanted to find that thing that you could do for 12 hours a day and not think of it as work. And that's really how I've dedicated my life for the past 20 years, is following that passion. And so we fast forward a little bit after that, a couple years later, and I became the ESL department chair. And I taught some ESL 2, 3, and 4. And at that time, Poly was year-round school. And we would have students that yesterday they were in middle school, in June, today it's July, and they're in high school. And so the kids were very young and immature. And I had this one class, I remember this one student. She looked like she was about 9 or 10 years old, but she was a 9th grader. And she was great. She did everything a teacher could ask. She participated, she was polite, she was respectful, she was cooperative, she was collaborative. But she missed a lot of school. And so one day, and I'm learning myself, and still as a new teacher, I asked her to stay after a little bit. And find out what's going on. You know, sweetheart, why are you staying after? Or, excuse me, why have you missed so many days? And she replied that, well, her dad's not at home. She's pretty much her and her brother. Her mom is gone all the time, working 3 jobs a day. And her brother got in trouble with a gang member. And so, gang member, to get back at her brother, said he was going to do it. And so, brother taught her, or told her, hey, you have to be careful. You know, he's serious. He's not playing games. And so, she had this method. Every day, she woke up in the morning, her brother was left to go to work, and if the guy was outside of her window, she could see looking outside the window of the apartment building, she was there, she didn't come to school. The days that he wasn't there, she went to school. So she was in school maybe 2 or 3 days a week, approximately. And so that really struck me. I had never, I grew up here. I went to Birmingham High School. I didn't have that experience. I had both parents at home. And I had heard about students that were struggling, but as a relatively new teacher, I was learning about these students and what they needed. You know, I went home that night, and it really stuck with me, to the point where it's stuck with me to this day. Empathy is a big part of who I am, and I really try to imagine what it would be like if I grew up in those circumstances. What if I was afraid somebody was going to hurt me before I left the house in the morning, and my dad isn't there, and my mom is too busy? What would I do? I miss days here in Birmingham. And if I had the opportunity to miss more days because of this, there was a built-in excuse. Would I have gone to school every day? Would I have gotten A's? Would I have graduated high school? And I really had to sort of dig deep inside myself. And I think the answer was no. I don't think I would have graduated high school. It would have been a built-in excuse that I had to not go. It would have been easier to not go. You would have had to fight against my circumstances to go. To have the type of grit and maturity and determination of a young kid, that's unusual. And I don't think I had it at that age. And so, to this day, that informed my lens for equity. What that student needed wasn't 3 strikes, you're out. What that student needed wasn't, well, you didn't attend today, so you're not going to be able to make up the homework because you don't have the parents' notes. That student needed a different type of attention, differentiated support. It was my job to help that student be successful, and I was going to do whatever it took. And I knew that what that student needed was different than what I needed. And so that really formed my lens for equity as I continued on as an educator. And it continued to evolve. So, passion and equity. The third lens is rigor. And I had just become a new principal. So we're fast forwarding a few years. And I had the opportunity to attend a conference, California Academic Partnership Program Conference. And I was lucky enough for there to be 3 of the leaders of the Long Beach Promise. Long Beach Promise was the agreement between Cal State Long Beach, Long Beach Unified, and Long Beach City College. And they shared data with us. And their partnership is all based on the concept of, if we aren't working together, our kids aren't going to be successful. Look at the evidence. And so they brought out data. They showed us a lot. And my heart dropped, because I realized very quickly that there were consequences for what I was doing in my role, my job. The data that they had said, if a student had to take a remedial college class, in this case they were talking about mathematics. So a remedial mathematics class at Long Beach Community College, only 5% went on to even pass one math course. 5%. 5% African American students and Latino students at Long Beach Community College, if they took a remedial math class, ever passed even one class. So we're not talking about getting their AA. We're not talking about transferring to university or graduating university. We're talking about mass of students dropping out because they're not prepared. And I realized then that there was an obligation that I had as a principal, and I still believe in, is to give kids rigorous learning opportunities. By setting the bar very high, then we're not locking kids out of learning opportunities. There are multiple entryways into rigor, into an AP class. Some students may be prepared for it their entire life. They take honors classes and got A's, they're ready. Other kids, they're going to need additional support. Maybe they need motivation. Maybe they need encouragement. Maybe they need help in creating a study plan, organizing their time. All of those things need to be factored in. But we weren't going to just let kids decide and opt in if they wanted to. We really had to sell it to them because the consequences were dire. They would drop out. And the obligation at the high school level is to prepare our students for success at the next level. And so, go back to Poly High School, and that really changed the way we mapped our instructional program, starting with college readiness and backward mapping that all the way down to 9th grade. And the rigor was not the, we talk about time as being variable, but learning is not. Learning is the constant. Well, rigor has to be the constant. If kids aren't getting rigorous learning opportunities, they have no chance to be successful at the next level. And so accountability, absolutely, with support to lift kids up. So if you take all of those three things together, I think you get a sense of who I am as an educator. Passionate to a fault. I will err towards equity, providing support for all students, regardless of their needs, and rigor, making sure they have all the opportunities they can to perform, so there are no ceilings and no limits put on their academic performance in the future. Thank you.
I have a PowerPoint for you, just 1 second, please. While we're waiting, good evening. My name is Tracy Bowden. I'm currently the interim CEO principal here at Birmingham Community Charter High School, and I want to welcome you and I want to thank you for joining us tonight. So thank you for coming. I just want to share some of my core beliefs with you. One of my core beliefs, I think my top core belief is that everyone should be treated with dignity and respect. I believe that from the youngest child to the oldest adult, everyone deserves dignity and respect. And I think that if we treated each other with dignity and respect, there would be less problems in the world because I treat you like you want to be treated, you treat me like I want to be treated. I also believe that personally for me, honesty is my only policy. My word is my bond. If I tell you that I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do it. And I think that's very, very important because teachers, students, parents need to be able to trust me. They need to be able to trust that what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do. And also, at the school level, I believe in transparency. We are a charter school. We are a unique school in that we have all of our facilities. Our central office is on our campus. The school is on our campus. If you want to look at the budget, I believe that you should be able to look at the budget because this is our school, and you should be able to see where the money goes. So a little bit more about me. My mother was a special education teacher. So I think from my mother, I learned about compassion. I learned about caring for others. She was a long time ago in the 60s, you could bring kids home when you were a teacher. So she used to bring kids home, and we would play with the kids. But her goal was to reach out and help those kids and make those kids' lives better, and I learned that from my mother. And then as far as my career, I started my career in elementary school, and there's a saying that elementary school teachers teach children, secondary teachers teach subjects, which I've kind of combined. So I moved to middle school. I worked at McLean Middle School, over McCoyma, and also at Redhead Park Middle School. And at those middle schools, I was promoted. And I just also want to say that I brought the good from each of those 3 different schools I worked at. I brought the good from each of those 3 schools to Birmingham to make Birmingham a better place. So I had a conscious decision to move to Birmingham. I wanted to come to a charter school. I wanted to work in a school where we could do what's best for our kids. And we can make programs that are best for our kids. When you work at a district school, it's a cookie cutter. Your district level is down, your office is downtown. We make cookie cutter programs for kids. Whereas at a charter school, we can create our own programs for our kids. One example is that our kids start at 8:30 because it's proven that the kids come on time. They're on time when they come at 8:30, more than so forth. That's 8 o'clock or 7:45. And also, Birmingham is more than a community. Birmingham is a family. I love it here. I love the kids, I love the teachers, I love the parents, I love everything about the school. I think it's a wonderful place to be. In fact, when I first came to Birmingham, I thought I'd die and gone to heaven. I asked the kids to do something the first time and they did it. And I was amazed. I wasn't used to kids that acted like that. So the Birmingham years. So I started here 8 years ago as administrative director. I observed the culture of Birmingham. I've observed the culture of Birmingham. I sat back and watched my predecessors. I watched the things that they did. I watched the changes that they went through. And I consider myself to be an observer also. So this kind of watched, I kind of thought, and I kind of thought, well, if I ever got a chance to do this, what would I do and how would I do it differently? And I've observed how the culture of Birmingham grows and changes. So I have a unique opportunity as a leader to lead the changes in Birmingham based on Birmingham's strength and based on Birmingham's unique culture. Right now, Birmingham needs to have stability, community, and we need to move slowly and steadily in a growth projection. We have a unique culture, Birmingham. So I've been at 4 schools. Birmingham is unlike any school that I've ever been to before. We have a unique culture. We have a unique outlook. We look at things very differently from a district school because we are not a district school. And there's a unique way to motivate change in Birmingham. Change does not work effectively. The teachers can fire for this. You can't do change top down. I have to get down in the grass and the dirt and work with the teachers, and we can change from collaboratively from bottom up. And also we do things, we call it TPW, which is the Birmingham way. Okay, and also, there have been, in the past 2 years, there have been 3 CEO principals. So if you do the math, that's like 8 months for each principal. So right now, we really don't need a change. We need, and stretching out that quickly, we need stability. I've already led, thank you. I've already led a peaceful, calm transition from my predecessor to now. I started in May of 2018. I brought stability to our community, and I think that stability will continue if I continue to be the CEO. And I understand the culture, and I agree with the culture, and I understand how to lead that culture. I conducted a staff survey that included the classified and the certificated staff, and one of the things that came out in the survey was that people did not want another change. People want stability. And they were tired of outgoing change and wanted stability in the community. So I can provide that stability as I'm already a leader here. I've already started the leadership process. I'm already leading. So what have I done to prepare to be the CEO principal? I recognize the difference between an LAUSD school and an independent charter. As a charter school, we're like an island. Everything, as I said earlier, everything is on our little island. We're surrounded, and we have to do things our way in a cohesive way, and we have to be on the same page to get things done effectively. Like I said, we're our own central office on campus. Everything is on campus. Human Resource Department, And the principal is the chief executive officer, which does not happen in a district school. As I said earlier, district schools, you have your central office downtown, separated from the school. I have to be able to look at budgets. I have to be able to look at the operations. They're tearing up the football field out there. I have to know about that. So I have to know about everything that's already going on campus. And I do because I've been walking it and living it the past year. And I've done this for the past 8 years. I'm very experienced and I feel very, very confident about what I'm doing. Also, I work with 2 bargaining units, UTLA and AFSCME. And I set the table to create the contract for the AFSCME contract. So I have experience doing that. And here's my vision, because I'm sure people wonder, what do I want for Birmingham? Through great teaching and great learning, I want kids to have the ability to choose to either go to college or go to a career. Everybody doesn't want to go to college, but I want kids to have that choice. So if they don't want to go, they want to go work in their father's business, well then they can go work in their father's business, but they have the choice to go to college if they want to. And what have I done? I'm sorry. I want to know I'm going backwards. Okay, how do we get there? So these are the 3 pillars to get to my vision. We're going to examine teaching and combining this art and science of teaching. Teaching is both art and science. Good teachers or natural teachers come into the classroom, they connect with the kids instantly, and they're good. But you can always improve your teaching. There's scientific strategies that you can do to improve teaching. Also, I want to improve and sustain that college-going environment I was talking about so kids can have choices. And I want to increase student engagement. Okay, now, as far as the science and art of teaching, I've already started working with the department chairs. We're working on a framework that examines teaching and it provides a common language for teachers. So when the teacher says checking for understanding, all the teachers know what that means, and teachers can work on improving their practice. And I'm not saying the teaching practice here is good, I'm not saying it's bad, but like that Olympic athlete, when you think about the Olympic athlete that, what was his name, Mark Spitz, who swam, he swam several hours a day. He was a gold medal winner, he still swam, he practiced his craft. And that's what we can teach you as teachers. And that includes planning and preparation. Teachers have to plan good lessons. It includes the classroom environment. The classroom environment needs to feel safe for the kids. It has to be a safe environment for them to learn in. Also, a student-based learning environment. Instruction has to be good. First good instruction is the most powerful. And the teachers have to uphold their professional responsibilities. Also, for the college-going environment, we recently changed our A through G requirements so that more classes have A through G requirements. And the A through G requirements are the requirements that the UCs and the CSUs look at to admit kids into college. So if all of our classes, if our core classes, if our elective classes are all A through G, then it increases the child's class of getting into college after high school. Child's chances of getting into college after high school. And already we've increased our A by 10%, rate by 10% a year for the past 3 years. Small little baby steps, but it's progress. And then also, kids have the opportunity here to go to Valley College and Pierce College. They get dual enrollment. They 4 years in high school, and then they get, if they're taking their high school classes, they get their college classes too, so they can enter college as a sophomore, possibly a junior. And then also, we offer 25 AP courses right now, which are advanced placement courses. We want to offer more. What we want to do is, one of my goals is to have every child take the experience at least one AP class, because it's good for kids, it's good for them to learn. It increases the rigor in what they're learning. So it's good for all kids. And right now, to help that college-going environment, we have 3 college counselors, 3 counselors dedicated to college. We have 8 grade-level counselors to help those kids, to make sure the kids are making progress toward college. I'm very proud of this. This is our SBAC score. See right there, 70.6? 70.6, yeah, that's perfect here. That's what our 11th graders did last year, which is awesome. As you can see, we're number 2. We're behind Granada. It's the only school ahead of us in the resident schools. Also, this is our math. Math, we didn't do quite as well, but we did well, and I'll show you why in a minute. We're still at 29.8. We're still, kind of toward the top, but I'll explain in a few minutes why that's still a good number. Okay, this is called value added. If you look at this number right here, the 213 to 31.7, those are our incoming ninth graders. On the SBAC test, they met or only 31.7 of them met or exceeded the SBAC. By 11th grade, 2 years, Birmingham teachers, Birmingham community moved those kids from 31.7 to 72.1. Okay, and I would like for 72.1 to be our base, so that all our kids, this is the lowest that we get. My goal is to move this so that our base is 72.1 and all our kids are above 72.1. If you look at the 508, those are the additional 10th and 11th graders that came in that didn't come in as 9th graders. And I was talking about for math. So as 9th graders, those kids came in with exceeded or met 19.7%, but we moved them to 29.2, which is 10 points, which is really a good movement. I mean, it's not, it's not 70, but it's a good upward movement, and then with the other kids, it's 29.1. But imagine if both of these, our baseline was 72.1, how great that would be for our kids, and that's my goal. Okay, this is just the kids that come to Birmingham. 41% of the kids are homeschool kids, we call homeschool kids that come from Mulholland. The rest of our kids come from all over Southern California. And one thing I'm really proud about Birmingham, we do not cherry pick our kids. Our kids are special education kids, our kids are English language learner kids, our kids are gay kids, our kids are just regular, everyday kids, and we're able to move those test scores for those everyday regular kids. And I'm very proud of that for Birmingham. Okay, student engagement. Students have to be engaged in order to learn well. I am working with the grade level leads. We're working on a way to improve student connectedness at Birmingham. The studies have shown that if a child can connect with one adult over their high school career, they will do better and they will succeed in graduating from high school. So I'm leading the grade level academy leads. We're trying to find, be it advisory, be it homeroom, and we're looking for something that will be unique to Birmingham for what we can connect the kids to school. And I also led the hiring of 3 psychiatric social workers. If the kids are depressed, if they're sad, if they're anxious, if they're angry, if they have problems at home, they can't work, so to ensure that the kids get the emotional support they need, I've got the social workers here to help those kids. We had a problem with attendance. I've got a pupil service and attendance worker here. She came to get the kids back in school, because as you know, if the kids are not in school, they can't learn. And she also connects with the psychiatric social workers, so that usually kids who have poor attendance or something else going on in their lives. We also have 2 counselors per grade level. Our counsel ratio is about 350 to 1. And then we have career just to connect the kids, to engage. We have career and technical classes. We have a culinary class. And last year, that student went out and got a job in an actual restaurant, was actually working. And then there are a variety of elective classes. We have sports, we have drama, we have choir. And I believe in elective classes because I believe that those are things that can connect a child to school when necessarily academics won't connect them to school. I had a friend who said that he stayed in school because of woodshop. He liked making things. He hated everything else, but because of woodshop, he stayed in school. So that's the same thing. That's why I believe in electives that keep kids in school. And sports, too. In R2, drama. Okay, I was an administrative supervisor at PTSA for 5 years. Because I so believe in engaging with parents, I was there. Didn't miss a meeting in 5 years. I was there tonight. I highly believe that parents should be engaged. Our parents come to our sports events. Our parents come to, like I said, the drama, the choir. They come to college knowledge night. They come. But I'd like to my goal is to get more parents here for academics so they can help support their kids in the academics. So we have parents coming, they're just not all coming at the same time, in the same place. And then I held town hall meetings to discuss issues that were going on in the neighborhood, just to get the parents engaged, let them know what's going on. There was a donut shop across the street selling drugs to kids. So we had parents come in, we had the police come in, we talked to them about what's going on in the neighborhood. Don't buy donuts from the donut shop. I mean, you don't want to support the drug dealers. And then I brought a Nixle system to Birmingham, which is a texting system, just as another way to communicate with parents. So if something has to go out through text, we can send it through text. I'm trying to bring Birmingham to the 21st century. And I really truly believe that there should be a partnership between parents and the school. I mean, we're here to educate, the school's here to educate, but without the parents, we can't do a great job without you. So we need the parents and the kids, parents in the school, entwined to help educate the students. So we'll work on more ways to get parent engagement. So I want to thank you for your attention. My name is Tracy Bowden. I believe in stability, community, and sustained improvement for Birmingham. Thank you very much.
We have cards with questions on them. We'll collect them and ask either each candidate or both candidates. So how would you collect them?
Okay, I have a question here, and Tracy, maybe if you wouldn't mind responding first, and then Ari, if you'd respond. So the first question is, how would you use data to drive instruction?
Okay, we use data to drive instruction all the time. We didn't get those test scores without using data. We give a test, like for instance, we give the PSAT test. We examine the kids' data, we look at their English scores, we look at their math scores to determine what their chances are of doing well on the SBAC. And then based on those test scores, we place them and give them support. So some kids take double blocks of English and double blocks of math based on the data. When incoming ninth graders come in, they're given a test. And based